welcome to Meet
in the
Middle. We're so glad you could join us again this week. We've got a lot of exciting stuff coming up. Pastor Shane, what do you have coming up this weekend?
This weekend we have our Quarantine Crush Virtual Fitness Challenge. So, guys, I think the registration closes tonight. So shirts are going to be in the order and everything. You can pick those up next week in the office, starting on Monday. But go ahead and register like right now if you haven't, because it closes. And if you can't get registered, just text me or email me and I'll get you in there. I did order some extra shirts and such. So, but it's going to be a great event at 10 a.m. on our YouTube live channel. I'm going to go live. I'm going to show you how to do the exercises. I'm going to show Izzy, some of my kids and stuff. We're all going to show you how to do all different versions of these exercises, and we're there for you as well. And then there's also a run portion, run, walk, crawl, and you guys can do that on your own yeah, earn your shirt. So that's going to be fun.
And Pastor Andy, there's more people here.
Yes,
Now,
man,
what's
it's
going
been
on?
like a desert island here for so many weeks, which was the right thing to do. But yesterday we did the right thing, and that is we resumed a limited amount of early childhood school education care, and they had, I think, about 24 kids yesterday. It's from infant to, I guess it was preschool. Next week starts the pre-K program. That'll be a few more. And it'll probably build as families decide that they're comfortable with that. Very, very careful planning. 9 maximum children per teacher. Teacher's gonna wear a mask all day. Can't get the kids to wear masks at that age. But over the state of Florida, as far as we know, daycares have not been affected. And the basic guidelines for our area have allowed us to do this opening. Information about enlarging the program and the possibilities of doing that has come out also from the governor. So we may see a slight increase. So if you're watching this and you are interested in knowing more, Barbara Choi, our director, is doing a great job. Get a hold of her at Early Childhood School. And we had some cool stuff with the saying the boo-hoo goodbye to our kids from TK through second grade today.
Chapel, yep.
Yeah.
That was a blast. Just to be able to sit. For so long, I've been looking at a screen, just looking at a camera and doing chapel, and I've had no response or anything like that. So being able to see the kids kind of dancing with masks on, even if they had masks on, it was good to see them, hear them singing a little bit. And so it was a really good chapel service. It was just great to see them. And we have 2 more tomorrow. They're spread out. We're social distancing. We're going through all the precautions. We're spacing them out. The masks are worn. But still, it's just a great time to close out the school year and just see them in person. So excited about that.
Yeah, it just goes without saying, we think the teachers are the most awesome ministers through this time, and very excited to begin our planning for next fall. We think we're the right kind of place to consider for education on a lot of levels, but I think we really proved it in our ability to handle this change. You know, when you're this kind of an organization where everybody pitches in, for nobody considers this a job. It's a ministry for all of them. They did it. They did a great job. Even though some of them got pay cuts during the time period and furloughs, and they just kept rolling. And technology and getting kids toward that. So much credit to them. And you did a little more. I just did one 20-minute time with the kids online. It's different.
Oh yeah.
Than being in the classroom with them.
Absolutely.
But I was glad to see them, and glad to see that they were ending this year. It's so great that this came at the end of a school year, and that we can now start to adapt for hopefully what be a much more open experience in the fall.
Absolutely.
And then June 1st, I think it's June 1st, that's next Monday, we are kind of doing the same thing. We're opening our camp down there. Miss Ballas has been working hard on registrations. We're as full as we want to be at this point in time in the game, and we're taking all the precautions and plus some. So We have these little social distancing things we're putting on the ground and such, and we've got all the thermometers ready to go. We've got the masks. We've got the different rooms going to be set up for the different kids and their family groups. So excited for that. I'm excited to get through the first week.
Yeah.
Just to kind of, it's a whole different game for us, and so getting through the first week, we're going to see a lot. We're going to see what works, what doesn't work, and just be able to improve and go up from there. So excited.
And then we're also excited on the church side about we're looking at a phased reopening plan for the church as well. June 7th, coming up, not this Sunday, but next Sunday, we are going to have a drive-up service.
Mm-hmm.
We're still going to continue our online stuff, and an important word about that, I just want everyone to know that we are going to continue to invest in our online service and make it the best possible experience it can be for the future going forward, from now until, I don't know, till there's a better technology out there.
Holograms. Oh, there we go.
So we're gonna continue with that, and we know that number one, for some of you, it's probably not wise to come back and engage in any way, and for some of you, you're uncomfortable, and we want everyone to know that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
There are all kinds of opinions and ideas about reopening. There's not a right or wrong one. We're prayerfully considering, with the guidance of our council, what we think we can do best and safest. But just because, and I hope everyone hears that, just because we're offering something doesn't mean that we expect you to come be a part of it. We're going to continue the online experience, which we think has been really good, for the foreseeable future. And so we'll continue that. So June 7th, there'll be an online experience you can be a part of. Both the 9 o'clock and the 10:30, you can come be a part of that. But at 9 o'clock, we're also going to have a little bit shorter outside service. It'll be here in our parking lot between the church and ECS, and you'll be able to drive up and you'll see us there. We will offer communion. You can get a drive-up communion, and so join us then as you feel comfortable.
I just came back from deep within the enemy territory over at St. Paul Lutheran Church.
You're wearing a green shirt.
I know.
Uh-oh.
They welcomed me in.
I'm sure they did.
And we met with some pastors from the area. It was fascinating to see how we all kind of, as they kept using the word pivot, we all pivoted into the various programming that we did, some more quickly than others.
Mm-hmm.
And it was good news to hear that they were all doing fairly well, and financially too. That has been a blessing. Members have been very faithful all around, and we thank you for that. If you're watching, thank you for that support, because we've stayed right up with the rest of the churches. Boca Community Church had a good turnout for the drive-in.
They did.
A really good turnout. And funny story, the band they put the band on a rooftop in order to do this, and a neighbor called the police, code enforcement.
What?
Yeah, and so code enforcement came by and wanted to know why they were doing roofing, because the lady thought that there were roofers with a boombox up there, and so I think it's pretty funny. Code enforcement showed up. Hopefully, they came to know the Lord. Code enforcement.
Can we get on the roof?
Well, you and I can't. Julie Putnick, we're not going to ask you to be on the roof.
Julie, you don't have to be on the
You
roof.
don't have to be on the roof.
I think it could be fun. It's not the way most people are going to choose to worship
Yeah.
on any kind of regular basis, but let's have a good time, and it will be a chance to get out of the house and do something really safe, and that will be good to get together. We saw families at the Hullabaloo.
We did.
It was good. They drove by my house. I was like, it's good. It's not perfect, but it's another phase of getting back to where, and hopefully where we all want to be.
Absolutely. And then we're working in conjunction with our church council and our church ministry board, looking at a date of the 21st of June, when we would offer
Is that a special day of the year?
Well, it is Father's Day.
It is
Yes.
Father's Day. How convenient. We have 1, 2, 3 fathers start getting the presents, families, kids.
Yeah, so get ready for that. So that will be an experience. We'll get further details out on that because we're still working on it. But we will be taking some precautions. We will want masks worn. We'll have hand sanitizer everywhere. We'll do a really good job, the best we can, of making it the safest environment. There will be limited seating. We'll have overflow areas available. We'll do one service here in the sanctuary. We'll do another service down in the gym a little bit later. So more details to come on that, but exciting that we're working towards a future.
Mhm.
Some of that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I would be remiss, Pastor Andy, if I didn't notice that you have a guitar in your lap.
Yes, yes. I have a guitar, and on my way over here from St. Paul, I was thinking of what would be a nice song to do, and we've had enough of this, so this song came to mind. Grace Like Rain.
It's raining right now.
It is.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see so clearly. Hallelujah, grace like rain falls down on me. Hallelujah, all my stains are washed away. They're washed away. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear to me, the hour I first believed. Hallelujah, grace like rain falls down on me. Hallelujah, all my stains are washed away. Hallelujah, grace like rain falls down on me. Hallelujah, all my stains are washed away. They're washed away. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun. We know this days to sing your praise. Then when we first begun. Hallelujah, grace like rain falls down on me. Hallelujah, all my stains are washed away. Hallelujah, grace like rain falls down on me. Hallelujah, all my stains are washed away. They're washed away. So, kind of a rainy weekend, reminded of God's grace just fallen in some cases. Light drizzle, in other cases it was cats and dogs.
Is there ever any light drizzle? Oh, it just rain cats and dogs around
Oh,
here.
man. I asked Uncle Richard if it was going to rain today, and he said, "Is it Florida?" That was his answer. Good answer.
I felt like I missed an opportunity there. I needed the, what do you call those things?
Hey! Oh man, that would be cool. We gotta get our rhythm section
Yeah,
together.
I know. I saw
I was
that.
playing the couch drum.
Playing the couch.
drum.
Yeah, I'm a semi-professional dashboard drummer,
Oh,
amateur couch
Well,
drummer.
it's got a
but I'm
nice
working-
thud. The dashboard can have a nice.
Dashboard
yeah,
does.
absolutely.
I don't know who showed me, but do you know that Phil Collins song that has that "I Can See It Coming in the Air Tonight"? It goes boom, 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 boom. So I'm not telling you guys something you don't already know, but some people have figured out how to open all their kitchen cabinets up.
Oh,
And
to do.
They close them down perfectly to that.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think that's worth trying.
Yeah, that is definitely worth trying. Send us in your video.
Yeah. There you go.
There you go.
That would be great.
Engagement.
That would be awesome.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
engagement.
Absolutely. Well, I thought we'd take an opportunity. I know there's a few different things on our hearts and stirring, and God's been working on all of us during this time in a variety of ways. One thing that I want to share, I wrote a little bit about in my devotion that we sent out today, but just the idea of unity. It really does feel like during this time there are a lot of different opinions, and that's good. That's part of what makes our country great. That's part of individualism, which is a driving spirit that we have. But in the midst of differing opinions, it's okay to think differently than someone else. But what we're about, what you just sang about, what we're about as a church, what we're about as followers of Christ is love.
Mm-hmm.
And so how can we prioritize love and unity over being right? And I certainly don't have all the answers. Sometimes I struggle. You guys know what happens to me when I'm exposed to New York Jets fans. We've talked about this before.
It's not a pretty sight.
Unity doesn't come into my mind. Other things come into my mind. Things that I have to confess to our God. But all kidding aside, it feels like there's a lot of division out there. Social media, people I talk to, they're very strong opinions. And so my rule of thumb in this is it's something I learned a while ago, is there's levels to decision making, right, or to our life. There's matters of preference or opinion, right? You might like hot dogs, you might like hamburgers, or actually you're from Chicago. Let me throw that backwards. You might like hamburgers, you might like hot dogs, right? Neither one of them's right or wrong. That's a matter of preference or opinion. Then there's matters of wisdom, right? Things that we experience over life.
Mm-hmm.
It happens that we learn. Wisdom is when we take our knowledge that we've gained and we apply it.
Yeah.
Like if you put your hand on a hot stove, you will get burnt.
Don't need to do that
It's
twice.
not wise to do that.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. That's the third time around.
Right.
I found that out.
Yeah. And then there's matters of conviction. Something that you just become absolutely convicted of from Scripture. This is the right thing to do. I should not lie. That's one of the 10 commandments. That's a matter of conviction. I should not lie, right? There are things like that. And I think one of our challenges is too often we take our opinions and preferences and we put them in the category of conviction.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to disagree. And so my challenge for us that God's working on in my own heart, which is the first place it needs to happen, and that I will share with all of you, is how can I be more known for my love than for my opinions or preferences?
I think about the situation now is that we should all be aware, and I don't want to make a new conspiracy theory, so check me if I sound straight, but I think we're very vulnerable to being manipulated right now, to go to the edges and not to the center. It's like you're not allowed. So you either have to wear a mask when you're taking a bath, even, or I've seen masks in cars.
Yep, while you're driving.
Yeah.
Masks on bicyclists, and at the same time, then I was just over a restaurant today. I walk in dutifully with my mask, bunch of guys talking around with no mask on. So you got like, oh, that's turned out to be one or the other. What a shame that everything keeps getting turned into this side or that side. That is not really the way this country has been its best.
No.
We have been our best when we've come together. If you think about the best example of that ever is World War II. If you think about where this world was headed and how we came together, this country, and really changed it, changed where things were headed.
Yeah.
Wow, we've always been proud of that moment. I believe that people found a middle, and like, you know, we're meeting in the middle.
No,
So, that's a good thing. But it's also, can a church be a place in the middle where, you know, we find things like you said that are sort of, they're in the middle of all things. Loving people is not a right or a left idea.
No.
It's the correct way to be a follower of Christ. And there's so many other things that would bring us together. So we can't afford to. Don't let ourselves be immediately manipulated. We could dare say within the spiritual world that devil's at hand when we're being pushed away from each other.
Right.
Because he does not want us to be together.
No.
He does not want us to be together. And the great thing I found is, with respect, we can learn from each other.
one of the things I've kind of found in my personal convictions on this subject is I keep my mouth closed for the most part, and I listen. That helps me is to listen, because I think a lot of times when we have these opinions, when we have something, it's already set in our mind for the most part. I mean, we're set one way or the other, and if we speak before we listen, then I mean, you know how it's going to end. It's going to end in conflict. It's going to end in some kind of bicker or something. But I found when you listen, all of a sudden you see a different side, and you see a little bit of a glimmer to the other side, and you're like, oh, wait a second, there might be something to that. You know, yeah, I feel strongly this way. This person feels strongly this way. But there is something in the middle. There is a middle ground there. It's not black, it's not white, it's gray. There's a gray area that we are all there together, and I think that's a powerful thing. So something I do is I muzzle myself. My wife probably disagrees, but most places I muzzle myself, and I take that time to listen. And I find a lot of times listening is an amazing way of loving. And so that's one little method that I use.
I think there's a Bible verse about that.
Possibly.
Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry.
There you go.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Not easy for pastors.
No, we like to talk.
Yeah.
Have you noticed?
You know, you were talking about the mask thing, which is one of those issues. I saw someone in our neighborhood the other day riding their skateboard at a very rapid speed, wearing almost no clothes and no protective gear, but wearing a mask.
Got a mask.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I don't know why that's important.
Well,
but I
they're
just
going
wanna
really
share-
fast. Maybe the bugs, they don't get bugs in their mouth that way.
I don't know, yeah.
I mean, maybe a different purpose.
Could be. Who knows?
The problem when we get pushed to the edges is that no one's listening to reason anymore.
Yeah.
You know, and the amazing thing is all sorts of people have reasonable things to say, but we stop listening to them because we've pushed ourselves to the edges and we don't listen anymore. So I couldn't agree more.
And God's made us all different. I mean, and that's a beautiful thing. I mean, He's created us all. Some people are much more conservative. Some people live life a little bit differently. You know, so and that's a beautiful thing. We need all those people that to help balance each other out. We need this, that, and the other to make this beautiful thing that we call the body of God, the body of Christ.
Yeah.
And so it's not a bad thing to have a different opinion. It's not a bad thing to be different. I like swimming with sharks. Most of you guys would just call me stupid. Okay, that's a difference of opinion. So, well, maybe there's a little bit of wisdom in that as well, but you know that's just a thing. But it's a beautiful thing. All the different types of people God has created.
Absolutely. You know, Pastor Andy, you've been talking a lot about you know, how we've engaged in all kinds of technology during this time, and so you've been talking a lot about this this idea that are circulating and emanating in your head about high tech and high touch. Why don't you share a little bit of that?
Well, you know, the reopening has got its all sorts of details,
Yeah.
and we're working hard on that, and council's working hard on that, our staff, you know, and that's really important. But we just don't want to just get back to like where we were and just say, well, that was fun or that was not fun, and be done. Every experience is a gift from God to learn from, and so one thing that I've been thinking about when we get back together is that we might learn something within the church that we, maybe especially Advent, but maybe not exclusively, that we knew but we weren't. And that is, this world is becoming very, very high tech.
Yeah.
I would dare say that Advent knows that, but Advent really loves being in church together, standing in the courtyard with the styrofoam cup of coffee, having the donut, slapping backs, hugging, and as a result also our fellowship activities and our serving together in a very, very great place for that. But we had to shut all that down, and yet we did, again, to use that word pivot, we're able to find through technology all sorts of ways to reconnect. And I've just had this glorious time of starting a Zoom meeting and someone getting onto a Zoom meeting going, oh, there you are, and seeing all the people and just feeling so included. And that's been incredible. Without technology, we truly would have been a bunch of islands, I think.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it. And we've been doing so many things through technology. Shane's been providing all these creative, energetic activities and things for kids. And Dave's using technology to send out a daily email that has been blessing people and that kind of thing that maybe you wouldn't have written a daily email
Probably not.
until this happened. And then, now you've said, whether it's daily or not, you're going to definitely want to keep up that pattern of communication. We've started this Meet in the Middle and been loving doing Bible studies online and frankly like doing meetings online to know that a lot of our folks who've been at work all day can go straight home, maybe even get a bite to eat before a meeting starts, and if not, they're at least home for the evening. So lots of good things about technology that we jumped on. And I just don't want to lose all of them as we move forward. Some of them are really worth keeping. We're going to keep streaming and maybe even find ways to stream creatively. We're going to keep some aspects of what we're doing right now, some kind of ways of communicating to our members. It's been kind of fun. I'd like to make sure that we have the opportunity for people who can't make it to a meeting, be able to get on, even if the rest of us are there, or a Bible study. I started thinking about, high tech. Some of the folks who obviously won't be watching this have not really caught up, and they've missed out. And that's for one reason, for sure, that we want to reopen. But I hope that we can find a new ministry, a tech ministry of some kind that would make sure that everybody in our church can be connected in a valuable way to our ministry. There's really affordable ways to do that we could set up in homes where people who don't know a lot about technology nevertheless would know how to connect. And I hope that never happens to us again, that they weren't connected. But there's a real hunger, and that's the high touch, which is why people have misbehaved and run off and had their pool parties and the things that we keep seeing video of, the re-engagement, and saying, is it just enough to re-engage, with just a cup of coffee and donut every week with somebody, or is it time to say, hey, you know what? I took that relationship for granted. I need to be in a small group again. And I know there's a lot of people in this church who've been in small groups that kind of let that drift away, and they've kind of let that go. Maybe you realize now, gosh, I wish I hadn't. I know our small groups met more than ever, but that's because we were a close group. And I know other groups have done the same thing. What other technology, what other high touch, which is the other half of high tech, high touch things do we want to look at? I've really been thinking that we need to get some more community serving groups organized. I think we know that from Church Without Walls, people like to do that. We keep thinking it needs to be the whole church somehow involved. Maybe that's because that's the way we think. But we need to lift up some leaders that just do 10 people out doing community service. That's what they want to do. It doesn't need to be 50 guys. We need to have that men's breakfast again where it might only be 15, 20. But those 15, 20 folks really like it. So I'm thinking that the value a church can provide is always going to be toward the touch.
Absolutely.
But was it high touch, or was it just sort of touch? Kind of show up touch. So as we come back, retain the high touch or high tech, but also consider how can we make our relationships deeper and the experiences we do have together more valuable when we get back. So pray on that, think about it, and I think that's you guys are going to have good ideas about that too. You think about the youth group. Does it always need to be the whole youth group? We always think of the whole youth group, but what about 3 groups within the youth group that are all empowered to be meeting and doing things or serving in ways they want to serve? Maybe there's a group in there. You talked about worship within the youth group. Maybe there's a worship group within the youth group. Not everybody wants to do that.
And that's what I've found during this time actually.
Yeah.
Is like I've had little success getting all my youth together at one time,
Right.
but individually meeting them on with their needs. So that's going back to everybody's different. Everybody has
Different.
their different needs and wants and stuff. That's what as a church what we got to do. We have to meet people on their level, not wait for them to come to us and then maybe just give them a little bit of something they want. Let's meet people on their level and give them their passion. Give them what are they passionate about? What are they? What is God calling them to do? And then hooking them up with that and helping, supporting that and nurturing that. That way they can grow as much as possible spiritually, and we're helping facilitate that. So, yeah.
I think we need to begin to set some goals that say okay, you can worship every week now.
Absolutely.
Okay, I know some people say I'm busy. Tell me that you cannot fit in a YouTube worship service with your church sometime during the week if you can't do it when we meet live. The answer is you can. Think that way. Even if I don't make it on Sunday, I can always worship with my church starting Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, Monday afternoon, Monday evening, whatever the time might be. Same thing for group. I don't have the time to get into a group, or I have kids, or I can't be in a group. There's going to be opportunities to be in. We could create opportunities around almost anything if we do virtual groups.
Yeah.
And maybe the virtual group would only meet once a month together, but they would meet virtually the other times. I know I never would have thought, and I keep saying this, but I never would have thought this group that I'm in could have met 9 weeks in a row, because we always made it such a big deal to meet. Whose house? Gotta clean your house. Gotta deal with the kids. Gotta cook food. Gotta have the refreshments. Gotta go through all this. And it would be a 2.5 hour, 3.5 hour ball, a great time. But then you'd say, next week? Can't do it next week. You can't do 3.5 hour, 4 hour. So maybe that's another lesson learned, is you can get an hour, and we've been doing about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour, maybe an hour and 5. And man, it's helped a lot. So just be thinking about different ways we might get connected. And I think that an ace in the hole for us now is that Ashley is very interested in our new staff member who's going to be involved in community life. She's with that on those kind of things. She's even in a virtual group herself.
Absolutely.
So she's bringing that concept. We may not be able to meet together. We know we want to meet together and probably will be able to do that. But let's keep both in mind, the high tech, the high touch.
Yeah, so look forward to new opportunities. And some of them are not that new. We've been doing this online thing for 12 weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
So if you missed a week, you can go back and watch it. We got 12 sermons sitting there ready for you, ready to go.
Yeah.
And look forward to other ones in the future.
Hey, I thought we'd end with our last song of the year for chapel.
All right.
We can only do. What grade do you want to be?
Okay. I'll be. I'll be kindergarten. Best 2 years of my life.
I was going to say the same thing about 8th grade for me, but
Okay.
Maybe 8th grade?
I'll be 8th
I
grade.
like 5th grade, so we'll go
Okay.
There we go.
In honor of our kids of the kingdom, that's who we are. Kids of the kingdom, that's who we are. We love Jesus, we love the Lord. We love Jesus, we love the Lord.
We are kindergarten. That's who we are. We are kindergarten. That's who we are.
We love Jesus, we love the Lord. We love Jesus, we love the Lord. We are the 5th grade, that's who we are. We are the 5th grade, that's who we are. We love Jesus, we love the Lord. We love Jesus, we love the mighty 8th grade.
We are the 8th grade. That's who we are. We are the 8th grade. That's who we are.
We love Jesus, we love the Lord. We love Jesus, we love the Lord. Hey, congratulations to our 8th graders, soon to be 9th graders. Thursday night, our
Did they all-
kindergartners
did they all make
graduated.
Do they all make it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna start calling out by names.
There might be a little grace like rain falling down on a few of
Maybe
them.
some grace like rain. Good.
Yeah, good to see you all. Take care.
See you
See
next
you next
week.
time on Meet.
In the
Middle. Goodbye.